Hello and welcome to the Asylum. I said it right this time. Uh, I'm your host, Don, and with me, as always, is my co-host Jeremiah.
And we're going to talk King Kong 3. Apparently, some countries think this is King Kong 3. It's not. Well, it is, I guess, in China, but I don't know if China watched this.
Somebody did.
Someone,
They
maybe.
released it on Blu-ray, so somebody had to have seen it.
Heaven help us. I can't imagine this looking good on Blu-ray.
I can't imagine this movie in high definition. I feel like
And I
it'd be the
think we
same.
watched it in high definition, technically speaking, on Peacock.
I think it would be the same thing as playing Final Fantasy VIII hooked up through your PS2 to like a 4K TV. Jarring.
So we are watching a movie that stars a member of the Brady Bunch, a member of the Partridge Family, and she was in Twin Peaks. I know that she was the wife in oh darn it, I had this in my brain. Movie with John Malkovich and the rabbit hallucinating the rabbit.
Being John
Of
Malkovich?
Mice and Men. Of Mice and Men.
Mice and
and so on. And Alice Cooper's in this movie.
True.
And Bruce Davison, for reasons. Bruce Davison, of course, you probably know him as Senator Kelly in X-Men. And the token black man is is actually in a lot of interesting stuff, like the collection, Spectacular Now, Super Empire.
Yeah,
legit
he
stuff.
looked familiar, but I was like, this guy is familiar. I have no idea where I've seen him.
But of course, we are talking about Bigfoot. Bigfoot came out in 2012, and if you want to know the plot, refer to our review of Mega Python versus Gatoroid, because it's pretty much the same plot in South Dakota instead of the Everglades.
Yeah, almost exactly the
Completely
same.
Bringing in a expert of a different race. This one being a black hunter who apparently goes to Alaska and has the records for a brown bear, grizzly bear, and Kodiak bear. Even though they're technically all brown bears, they're just some of them are on the coast and some are in front of. Yeah, and
they're all the same bear.
they're just slightly different variations of the same bear. And this one also has an 80s musician. That other one had a member of. Oh man, what band was that guy in?
The Monkees?
The Monkees, yes. This one has Alice Cooper, which of course both of them get killed by creatures. This one involves a festival in South Dakota.
At least this time there was music, though. He didn't actually sing, but at least they started music for him. Whereas in Mega Python versus Gatoroid, you didn't even get that,
But so what happens is in this movie, two former musicians. One is Harley, who's played by Danny Bonaduce from the Partridge Family, and Simon, who's Barry Williams from Brady Bunch. They are opposite ends of a coin. Harley wants to create a music festival, which he wants to do Woodstock, but he's doing it in South Dakota, which let me tell you, Woodstock will never be in South Dakota. No one lives in South Dakota.
I think he was just full of crap when he was saying that, though. But all right, so Harley is a radio show personality, and
Simon is a tree hugger.
Yeah, and Simon is a tree hugger, also in South Dakota,
who wants to protect a national forest, which is apparently also Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so they were partners in a band,
and they both slept with each other's mothers, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Such a weird. What did he say? I played pool in the house, I think is the line.
And so they're doing this music festival, and Simon and his friends all come up to block the bulldozers because it had a weird like freak snowstorm which happened to South Dakota, and they were going to plow, and apparently that's bad. I don't understand how they weren't really killing trees. They were literally plowing a field, which you shouldn't really do because that kills all the grass anyway. And they chain themselves to their well, they don't really chain themselves. They kind of wrap chains around their wrist and like put it on the vehicle. That's not going to do anything. There was no locks at all. And
there was. Because he unlocked himself from the one to
the
go
girls,
and
though,
see.
were just kind of like wrapping it around things.
Yeah, like that was not locked. They could have 100% just like let go of that chain at any point or tugged it off.
But during this music festival, you had seen him earlier, but Bigfoot gets really cranky because they're playing electric guitar because Alice Cooper's coming, or he gets annoyed at the hippie music that Simon plays, and comes out and starts killing a lot of people. They bring in the military. He kills a lot more people. They find out that his home is in the caves underneath the park, which apparently are also at Mount Rushmore. Climbs on the top of Mount Rushmore, King Kong style.
I'm not entirely sure how he got to Mount Rushmore because, like, they talk about how, because they talk about how it's a fair distance away
and how they should evacuate it, but don't.
But then he's just there.
And ends with them, of course, he climbing Mount Rushmore. They do the King Kong thing. Somehow a cop orders an airstrike on a national monument that kills 2 people, just like Gatoroid, 2 fairly miserable, terrible people. Just like in the previous one, they both die, and then they get a monument to their memory, which looks terrible and kind of terrifying and should never see the light of day.
So I feel like Asylum is trying to teach us a few things. Number one, never invite an 80s musician to whatever your fundraiser is. It will get attacked by some sort of creature. Number two, never trust a musician that's also an environmentalist. And number three, they don't know how to make memorials, and they should never have the funds to make a memorial for anything. Because this memorial, I think, is honestly more horrifying than the one in Mega.
The other one.
Mega Python versus
Gatoroid.
Because that one was at least just
you could kind of tell what it was.
And it was just inscribed as opposed to this oh, do you have a picture of it? Please tell me.
Well, I don't have a picture of the memorial. Sorry, I don't have a picture of it. But so one of the things of this movie, this starts off, and I think my very first comment was, "Oh, look, it's PS1 Bigfoot." Let's see if I can find what Bigfoot looks like in here. That's a poster. Yes, that is the beautiful Bigfoot. His hair is kind of like what are those little stress ball things, like the little springy hair, not hair, like rubber things that stick out and you can bounce it.
Yeah.
His fingernails are grossly long on hands and feet, like grossly long. He grows and shrinks in size a lot because he's big enough to crush people with his feet.
His fingernails don't leave tracks though. So his fingernails or his toenails are long enough that they should definitely touch the ground. Yeah. His prints are just like a beautiful print of his foot, which is exactly the size of a biologist candidate in grad school.
I find it funny that this one, they actually make noise. It's the same sound every time he walks, and they also bounce camera every time he walks, which at least is a plus. But he's big enough where his feet can crush people, at random, but also small enough where sometimes people can look up to him, and sometimes he stubs his toe on random people. He grows and shrinks on. Oh, look at this. He is not that big. Look, what the heck?
What on earth?
He is not that big.
It's very clear that they had no idea how big they wanted to make Bigfoot, so they just made him whatever size they needed for whatever scene it was they were doing. One of the things that I really appreciated was that he just literally crushed people under his feet. He just really lived up to the name of Bigfoot. He just was smashing people constantly, which was fantastic. I loved it.
Also, whenever he picked up a person, he's like, "Oh, look, they just turned into an animation from Metal Gear Solid." It literally would. And they like rip them in half. Occasionally, like there'd be people who like if it's an important person when they died, they'd just be thrown against the ground and their body would just be kind of there with a nosebleed. Like really, really, everyone else just got ripped to shreds. Like at the beginning, he attacks the music festival where there's like 40 people, which is more extras than they had in all those War of the Worlds movies. And like when they come back, there is like blood dripping from everything. No
The
bodies, but there's blood everywhere.
the music festival was literally 40 people, and I would say that is silly, but we're talking about South Dakota here, so probably realistic.
Like I was a few less people. Like it had, you just had a snowstorm. Yes, there's gonna be a few less people than you thought. Um, the body count in this movie is massive. Like
Yeah,
on screen body count is quite massive,
still
quite
blind.
impressive.
Yeah,
Though I don't understand what's like the lady sheriff from Oklahoma who's there because of something happened in Oklahoma and it was transferred there for a while, which isn't how sheriff departments work. Like, and maybe if you knew like the head of that department, you could say, "Can I send someone to be with you?" But it's you don't just they're not a federal agency. You don't just transfer. Um,
and her like
I don't know what
reason,
she's doing.
yeah, like I don't. Apparently, she's the daughter of a different sheriff deputy that used to be there because like she has a conversation with the other sheriff's deputy, but like that's like it. She like I feel like they wanted to flesh out a backstory for her, and then at some point they're like, nah,
That requires money. But Alice Cooper dies, or he gets punted actually.
he does get punted.
That's one thing that he does. I like this Bigfoot took notes from the best scene in the third Mummy movie with the Yetis, where they like punt people and go touchdown, where they do field goals. Um,
Oh
okay, first of all, Bigfoot looks terrible. He looks absolutely terrible. There's a scene where he's chasing people in a river, and like this river looks incredibly shallow, like a creek, and they're like moving, and he's somehow moving water, but it doesn't affect the boats at all. Yeah, at the same time, he can like rip people in half and destroy their bodies, but their little inflatable rubber boats are not harmed.
at all.
um,
I loved when he was chasing the car down the road. Just that scene was
hey, this movie though did have better looking military people than we had in movies that actually needed the military. In fact, the military was called in to fight him. Though their
true.
presence is very inconsistent and kind of odd. Like, who's in charge? Because a sheriff is not in charge of you. But they were wearing actual like military looking fatigues and they actually had like actual military patches on. They were the winter ones, but they actually had patches on. They had a tank, which had weird destruction on a road. Like,
Yeah.
tank shells don't do that. But then we used it once, even though the thing clearly wasn't dead. There's also a hilarious scene where they go to fight they go into one of his cave when they come out, the military just like takes them out and just shoots them as they're coming out of this cave. Like, don't you realize this thing is like 10 times the size of these people you're just like mowing down as they come out of this cave screaming? That would definitely get someone in trouble.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't just mow down civilians.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, the this movie was not good. Um, there was a constant running joke where Harvey apparently slept with Simon's mom while
Lots
they
of your
were,
mom jokes.
and he just kept bringing it up over and over and over again for literally no reason. And then like the Simon's final line, his death, his line that will be remembered forever because he died is I played pool in the house when he tells Harvey that he slept with his mom while he was on tour. I was like, yeah. So that should give you an idea of the quality of dialogue and storytelling in this entire film.
He also there's one of my favorite lines they've done. I think it's near the end where it's like where they're chasing down this monkey to Mount Rushmore, who is changing in size a lot on that thing. And they actually have actual military planes. There's not just boots on the ground in this one. They
Isn't it?
have armored core. They have foot soldiers. They have the Air Force, or at least aircraft. But they're chasing down, and there's like, what the heck is that? What is that thing? I'm like, get out of the way, you crazy people! Like when the news helicopter's there, and they're like, we can't see him. Like, how do you not see him? Like he is right there in front of you, and then just like takes out the news people because they're too dumb to actually look at him because they're flying in front of military craft with missiles. And just like in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, some random person on a radio can order an airstrike on a national monument. I'm pretty sure lots of heads rolled with that particular one because they thought this entire movie they were trying to like tranquilize him.
Yeah,
but like they keep on stealing each other's tranquilizers, so like no one actually has enough to actually do it, right? And then like the Major Hunter guy got like shot multiple times by the military. I'm not sure if he died. He just got shot a lot right there. And so like just pure incompetence all around. Nothing like where they like give, no excuse like giving giant growth hormones to a monkey. Nothing like that. No trashy chick on chick fight. In fact, I thought a chick does like nothing beyond order an airstrike on a monkey. That had already been burnt once before, like he had a burnt face. At least they kept that. The injuries they kept. But like
that is true.
He just got mad at metal music playing into his home because he woke up and had basically he was hibernating. He woke up, was tired because he woke up because there was a snowstorm happened, and metal music was playing, and it drove him crazy because he was just tired, had a headache or something, and he goes on this rampage.
Oh, we forgot the subplot where Simon runs for mayor with the 100% rip off of Obama's campaign with the posters and everything, and he's getting interviewed and he's talking about
all of his assistants are chicks, like hippie chicks.
Yeah, hot hippie chicks. But
that all die. Every one of them. They all die, including one with the second worst accent in one of these movies. Like I don't know if she could actually enunciate words. Like she disappears and she's like a scientist, I think. She's in there for like 2 scenes and then gets like killed when they go into the forest.
She gets introduced as a biology student. He's like, "Oh, so you're a biology student?" And she's like, "Yeah, I really think I'll graduate this time." Is what she says, and then she's just hysterical. He's like, "I guess she was supposed to have an accent. I couldn't figure out the accent, but she couldn't do it. So all she does is just yell in order to say her lines in like this hysterical voice."
Well, she dies in like a scene anyway. In fact, the only person that was important who dies a little bit later is like his Asian assistant, which is kind of weird because you couldn't really understand that she actually was that important to him at all. And then she dies and suddenly it was important.
Well, he did bail her out of jail.
Yes, which is like, that's not how you bail someone out. First of all, why was she arrested? She looks like she was placing flyers. And second of all, you don't just walk up to jail, hand him a wad of cash, and leave.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff has to be counted.
At minimal.
Unless he's literally bribing him, which is possible too.
I mean, either that or it's just like so regular that she gets arrested for whatever she got arrested for that he just already knows how much and he just tosses it to him like, "Here you go, I'll bail her out."
And I found it funny that the hippies are getting sent like random like weapons and stuff from backers in other states that then get stolen by Harley's people because like whatever they're getting, we need to have. And he can't decide if he wants to kill the monkey or like put him to sleep so that they can open up a park to go watch Bigfoot. It's inconsistent.
Very.
And somehow the sheriff of this town, despite, or is he the mayor? Might be the mayor of this town, despite being part of all this mess, survives the entire thing, and it creates the monument at the end. Even though like he's the reason, like he's like the mayor in Jaws who like let the festival happen, let people die, and then the reporters come up to him and says, "I knew nothing," and like runs away. But somehow he's alive at the end to still be mayor. I thought it would be like some random like I thought it'd be the chick or something because like the Bruce Davison dies when like a truck hits him, right?
Yeah.
Like Bigfoot just like kicks a truck at him into a tree, and Somehow, I will say this though. Somehow, though this movie has a much bigger body count, this has a way lower rating than the previous couple. I understand one of them had an R rating because there were boobs at the beginning, but this has like a strange amount of like crunchiness to it, and none of it good at all.
Uh,
At least Gatoroid had like trashy ideas and trashy like chicks that ended up, fighting like white trash.
yeah.
This is too cold for them to do that. And also, I don't quite understand like what time of year it is because it's like snow, not snow, yes, snow, no snow, sunny. Like it's like they couldn't the weather just wasn't being nice to them, so they just like made it workish.
I don't know if you've ever been to South Dakota, but that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, well, I've been told, but
I
it's
also let's
weird.
not
It's a
forget
weird movie.
the mayor who survived and built that monument. He also overtly diverted funds from the
Oh,
firemen's
fireman's
retire.
pension. Yes, because they're all volunteers anyway. It's okay. Uh, also, I have to say, when Bigfoot goes on his rampage at the beginning at the festival, I am highly amused because like this lady goes off into the woods to pee because no one will let her cut, and she still has two very full like margarita cups. She puts them down in the woods, looks up, Bigfoot's there, and he like punts her over the outhouses. And next thing you know, Bigfoot's going through the outhouses. He like crushes a guy with one, but he just like kicks the outhouse into him and destroys him, and then just goes nuts. Um, Being South Dakota, they might have killed like half the population of the state in this movie. There's not that many people there anyway. But this movie is not good. It's ranked 2.5. It's actually ranked higher than some of them. This is a more entertaining movie than Battlestar Wars. Most are.
Yeah, that's true. I would put this probably above New Wave.
Next wave.
Yeah, Next Wave. But probably below Annihilation. I think I would rather watch Annihilation again than watch this again.
Okay. Um,
I don't know. I forget my ratings at this point. I just know that right now, the absolute best we have seen so far is Mega Python versus Gatorade or
I
Independence Day.
Independence Day. I liked. Well, it's kind of weird because I can definitely say I enjoyed War of the Worlds Annihilation, but it's mostly because I like the designs and I can pick over weird designs.
And mech suits.
Yes,
Mech suits is always going to win for me. If this had
and
had
that
mech suits, they had busted out a mech suit to fight Bigfoot in classic PS1 animation, I'd have been down for it.
hey, at least they had tanks. They had foot on the. They had soldiers on the ground. They actually had the people there that you think would be there. They had
Yeah,
helicopters.
an
They
airstrike,
had
a tank.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah. I I just kind of put this in the middle, kind of like Blood Lake. It's just there.
yeah. It would not be one that I would like watch again, and I probably wouldn't recommend watching it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see what we're gonna watch next.
Wheel of Asylum, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the movie that we should burn. Exorcism, The Possession of Gail Bowers. All right, let's find out what
Alrighty then.
this one. What do you think? Probably a ripoff of.
Exorcism of Emily Rose.
That would be my guess.